What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start the show by being transparent. Um, Yesterday was a good day for me. I went 6-3 overall, so happy with that. And I see my guy Boofer in the chat is starting off 1-0. He
So,
says pre-show bets. Rob Veno shirt, light blue.
hey, he wins.
1-0 for Boofer to start the show. How was yesterday for you, Rob? How you been? It's been a little while since I talked to you.
Yesterday was good, and now that I see that ski, we got to make that a thing because I got an array of colors, the same polo shirt every time, but it's a different assortment of. It could be like the Gatorade in the Super Bowl. We could do that every single show. Um, yeah, the last 2 days have been good. 7-2 overall. The one thing that hurt me, Ski, was a couple of nights ago. Even though I won, um, I played a 5%. I've only had two all year long. I played a 5% on the
Mhm.
Hawks team total over 109.5. They only got to 106. So that one stung, but it was still a 3-1 night, 4-1 last night. So I won't complain about it, but I kind of wonder about this Hawks offense in this series. It's been absolutely non existent.
It has. I know they don't play today, but like as you're talking about it, I remember Trae Young just saying like his offense is gonna be a lot better, or it was something of that nature. I got to go back and hear it, but I did expect them to be better, before the series at home, and we'll see what they can do. They haven't looked that good. Haven't looked good at all, actually. What's up, Munaf? Let's see. Jeffrey, yeah, you see it. You know what's up today. But we'll touch baseball first, and then we'll get to the NBA. So only a couple games we were interested in here today. First one we'll talk about. It goes off at 3:40 p.m. That is the Rockies and Phillies. This game open Phillies minus 220. I think we're seeing a consensus now of minus 230 or minus 235. Total open total open 9. A little bit juice to the over, and we're still seeing the 9. Even more juice to the over. So looking at both of these pictures, last 5 game stats. Feltner, I have him 13 innings pitched, 8.78 ERA, and the bullpen for Colorado has been pretty bad as well, 5.92 ERA over the last 2 weeks. So don't really like the starter, don't like the bullpen. Look on the flip side, Strom, 11 innings pitched. He has a 2.31 ERA, and the Phillies right now are number 2 weighted runs created plus versus right-handed pitching in the last 2 weeks. So I like all of that. Their bullpen has been better. I understand probably why the Phillies are this big of a price. I want to bet them that the home team can't really bet them minus 1.5, or you're not supposed to. So how do we play this game, Rob? What do you think we do with Philly and Colorado?
Well, the first thing I looked at, Ski, was total over. Again, here on the, I guess they call this Mid Atlantic, where I am in Pennsylvania, but it's East Coast, and the weather's really good. And when you have good weather in that ballpark, Citizens Bank, it's conducive to a lot of scoring. So I took a look at over 9, and the Colorado Rockies are the same old thing, right? They hit really well at home, don't win games, but they hit. I think their batting average at home is 283, but on the road it goes down to 217. Same thing every year. I don't have a lot of faith in Matt Strom for the Phillies, even though he's had a good couple of outings so far. But I think the best way to play this one, what I wound up with, was the Phillies team total over the number. Actually, Ski, believe it or not, I found a 4.5 minus 40 cents, which I don't like to lay 40 cents, but I didn't want to get to 5 either, which is the universal number is 5 in this game for the Phillies team total. Think they'll probably hit Feltner real well. The ball travels in that park in good weather, like I say. So there's not a host of reasons to go ahead and bet this play, but there were enough reasons to make it a small play. And there wasn't that much that I could find to kind of negate not making it a play. The Colorado Rockies, as you mentioned, you talked about Feltner's numbers, you talked about their bullpen numbers, and the Philly lineup, which had been a little bit dormant for about a week or so, came alive last couple of days. So I gave that a try. Phillies team total over 4.5. For those who can only find the 5, because I think that 4.5 is gone now. even though it was heavily juiced. I still think 5, probably the worst you end up with is a push in that instance. You don't get the ninth at bat if you're ahead in the ninth inning, so that may hurt. Um, if Colorado produces anything in this game, I would say this: if Colorado gets to 3, you got a good chance of getting the whole thing over. But I'd rather take my chances with the Phillies offense. I think that's the more dependable thing against Feltner and the Rockies bullpen. Oh,
All right,
and
people seem to be
uh,
people seem to be agreeing with you here, Rob. We have we have
KC,
Raven.
she wants to talk about it too.
We
Little
got Raven
peaches
like
she
in
put up there.
the you know it's coming every time, Rob.
Oh man.
Raven agrees with you though. Munaf agrees with you. I think Munaf says he likes it in the first 5 as far as the team total. He also was looking at Feltner over his 1.5 walks, says he's had 3 or more walks in all 3 starts, 2 career appearances. He has walked the Phillies at least twice in each appearance. So people agreeing with you, and I can't talk anybody off of this one. What's going on, Tay? In the chat, having some fun there. That's what we do here. We have some fun. That's that's what I love about it. So maybe I'll get there with you. I'll think about this one a little bit more. But Phillies team total over is the look for this game. Let's move over to the next baseball game, and that one we are looking at Padres at the D-backs, and this game opened Padres minus 125. They're now as high as a 145 favorite. Total open 9.5, and we're looking at tens right now. When I look at both of these starting pitchers for Waka, I see 16 innings pitched, 6.06 ERA hasn't been good, and I think he's been even worse on the road. I don't have specific numbers, but that's really another reason why I was thinking to fade him here. Nelson, on the flip side, has been solid, 17 innings pitched, 3.71 ERA. Bullpen numbers, San Diego 3.83 ERA the last 2 weeks compared to Arizona 4.82. So I really want to try to get to fade Waka here. And I don't trust Arizona's bullpen. So I was thinking maybe something like Arizona first 5 plus a half. I think that was minus 125. And just really a fade of San Diego's bats too. They're 27th weighted runs created plus versus righties the last 2 weeks. So I just it was just a lean though. I didn't feel that confident to run to the window. But Rob, what do you think between San Diego and Arizona? Would you be looking towards the Diamondback side as well?
I did. I didn't play it yet. I want to play it because I want to trust Ryan Nelson for the same reasons that you said, Skee, first 5. I'll add a little something to it. I've talked a lot about this so far this year, and baseball's been pretty good. 17-10 start, up about 11 units on the season. But these stolen bases are a big deal this year. And when you find a pitcher that's slow to the plate against a team that can run, then generally, we talk about these kind of matchups in football and basketball all the time, but in baseball, we don't really think of these types of matchups. But Waka has that long, slow delivery to the plate. And Arizona, I think they're top 5, top 6 in team stolen bases right now. It's a team that likes to run. It's a team that can manufacture stuff inside their home ballpark. I trust them to be able to manufacture something first 5. Waka, for a lot of his career, has been a fly ball pitcher, and we know that in chase, the ball sails a little bit. So I like the combination of contact and speed that Arizona brings against Michael Waka. I think that could frustrate him a little bit, especially if they get runners on. He's got to worry about them. Skee. So I'm sitting with you, kind of looking at Diamondbacks minus. I'm going to go. I was looking to go run line minus half a run, first 5 innings. In order to get there, I have to be able to trust Ryan Nelson, starter for Arizona, who is a highly touted kid. And in fact, I think they designated Madison Bumgarner. The Diamondbacks did, finally knocked him off the roster. So these young guys are going to have to step up a little bit. I may get there, but that's the way I'm looking. Diamondbacks first 5 for the offensive reasons against Michael Waka.
All right, so we're in agreement here. Anthony in the chat says it's his pick of the day. Jeffrey says he agrees with that. He's on the money line though. So I'm liking that, we're lining up here on this game. My only thing is, I guess you agree that we should not be backing Arizona's bullpen, right?
Yeah, it's so early in the year, Ski. It's hard to make a definitive opinion on all these bullpens, but I do not like Arizona's bullpen so far this year, even though they have a winning record. I think that's more attributed to what they've gotten other starting pitchers in the offense.
Okay, I'm with you on this. Um, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to add D-backs first five plus a half run after the show here. So good stuff talking this one out with you. And Munaf says, get your D-backs to win the NL West tickets. Not so fast. Uh, Sox Nation says Padres over 4.5 runs. So maybe looking at an over game or just liking the Padres specifically here. Enough of the bases for me. We've been making our
Put
money
an
in the
end to
NBA. Yeah, we've been making our money in the NBA. I wanted to touch a couple of these games. We made some money in the NHL too, but I don't feel very strongly about these NHL games. But I do feel strongly about a little bit of NBA for today. So let's scoot on over there. Um, First game that we have to talk about there, Rob. Sixers and Nets. And bear with me here while I get the odds screen back going to NBA. This one opened Sixers -4. They're now 4.5 point favorite. Total open 208.5. It's as high as 210 at a couple of shops here. Injury report for both of these teams. See the refresh button here. So for Philly, I just see McDaniel's game time decision. For Brooklyn, I don't see anybody on the injury report. Um, this is that situation where right the team goes back home down 0-2, and it's supposed to give max effort, and I didn't even look at the first half line, but I'm pretty sure the first half line is shaded because the bookmakers have caught on to this already. So I don't want to play it just based off that. I got to make sure I trust that team to be able to win the game, and I'm just not sure I trust the Nets to do that. Um, as well as they shot in the first game, I don't think they shot too poor in the second game. I could be mistaken, but I just don't think there's a whole lot more they can do better. I get that maybe at home some of their role players might play better, but they're a really terrible rebounding team, and that's going to be a disaster versus Philadelphia versus Joel Embiid, etc. And they don't have anybody to match up with him. So I would only play Philly in this game, full game. I would stay away from anything early just because Brooklyn, if anything, is going to come out early, motivated. So it'll be Philly full game. I'll probably play Harden under his points just because I feel like maybe he's been more of a passer. Those are the only ways I look to play this game right here. What are you thinking so far, Rob? Philly and Brooklyn?
Well, first off, I'm going to agree with and put numbers to what you said about you don't think Brooklyn can do much better. And I'll tell you exactly why I feel the same way. In game one, like you said, they shot 55.7% from the field. They shot 44.8 from three. Those are tremendous numbers. I don't know that they can shoot better than that in a game. They only got out rebounded in that first game by 3. So they shot great from the field. They made 13 threes, almost 45%, didn't really get hurt on the boards, and didn't get hurt in free throw attempts. They were only -1. Result of that game, they lost by 20. They can't play it any better than that, and they still lost by 20. So they come back in game 2. This time they hold Philadelphia to 96 points. They forced 19 turnovers, but the shooting went south. 37.5% from the floor, 31% from 3, got crushed on the boards by 23, and they lose by 12. So even when they held Philly to 96 points, they couldn't come within double digits. And I wanted very badly to get to the Nets here in this game plus points, and I think they're probably getting a couple more, at least a point and a half more than they really should be. But the bookmakers know that there's no Brooklyn money coming. Power ratings showed me the game should be between 2.5 and 3. We're staring at 4.5 right now. So value is what value is, right, Skee? There's no value in a losing ticket. You can talk about taking value all you want, but if it's going to lose, you can't consider it value. But I do think they're probably getting a little bit undersold. With me not being able to play the game, I look toward the total. To me, this number 208.5 was a little short to start with. You can see Jacques Vaughn on the sidelines wants his team to push pace. They're best when they push pace. And by the way, I'm just going to go off course a little bit for those who are playing props out there. And I don't play a lot of props, but the first two games out of Cam Johnson suggest you probably want to be on Cam Johnson. 46 points, 18 of 30 from the field, 60% from the field. He shot well in both games, and he's shooting real well from three, 9 of 17, 53% for the series. So maybe Cam Johnson is a guy to get involved with in props. But for me, I got involved in the total. Like I said, I got it at 209. I think we're looking at 209.5 now. I don't think there's a way to stop Philadelphia from scoring if you're Brooklyn. I think the reason why they stopped them last game and held them to 96, James Harden was miserable from the field. Philly does go a little bit slow, but I think their efficiency, in the first game, they put up 121. Their efficiency is so good that they'll score theirs. Nets at home, a little bit of energy, pick up the pace. I think we know that in NBA basketball, 209 is a relatively low number. If the game sits in that, let's say, 5 to 7 point area at the end where we can get free throw make, we might even get a little bit at the end of the game. But I did play over 209 tonight, Brooklyn and Philadelphia.
All right, Rob expecting some points here. And I think if Brooklyn's expecting to stay in this game, they're gonna have to push that pace and try to beat the set defense of Philadelphia. I agree with that. So I don't want to talk anybody off this over. I didn't feel as strong about this game, so I just let it be. But that's the way Mr. Veno's leaning. Munaf, he liked the look that you were talking about with Cam Johnson. He said over his 2.5 threes that's cashed in both games. And Anthony Remind, he said 90 people watching. Hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, if you guys like what you're watching, yeah, I appreciate it. It'll help us out. And if you want to know whenever we go live, hit the subscribe button. I like this comment here, Rob. I don't know if you got to read it because you were talking, but that's what I was laughing at. We weren't laughing at you. Justin says, "Yo, I be trimming my brother-in-law with y'all pics. He thinks I'm a guru, so I can't share y'all show with him. Sorry."
We're glad we can help.
Yeah, as long as however we can help. Yeah. Casey says, "Rob, want to say this game is ass so bad."
I don't know. If I can make money, it's not ass, but I did want to say before I even started that, Skee, I wanted to say that was a smooth transition you pulled off putting the NBA background up. I noticed that real quick when you put that NBA logo stuff up.
A little better here and there. We do it every day. I should get a little better some way, shape, or form. So keep working on it. I don't want to mess his name up. You guys know what today is. I celebrate it a little bit. Help me out, Rob.
Equanimity. It's kind of like the guy. Right? Yeah, it's kind of like the wide receiver from Notre Dame and the Packers. His is Equanimous. This one I don't think has Equanimous in it, so we don't want to Equanimous. Equanimous, maybe. I don't know.
All right, as long as it wasn't.
Correct us if we're wrong.
Tori says he doesn't trust the Warriors to cover tonight. We're going to talk about that game right now. Zoned up says Sixers -4.5 seems too easy.
Mm-hmm.
G Martinez says Sixers is the way. They will pull away. And looks like that's all we're talking about here. Appreciate you, Lucky. So let's move over to that next game. Game that I do want to talk about here quite a bit. The game that Casey, I'm sure, wants to hear about and talk about in the chat as well. We'll go, and we got to keep it up. Rob just gave me a compliment. Let's keep it going here with the banners. Kings at Golden State. Opened up Golden State -7. It's dropped as low as 5, but we're seeing a little bit of a climb back now. It's up to 6 pretty much everywhere. Total open 238.5, and we're looking at 240.5. As far as the injury report for both of these teams, for Sacramento, I see Dellavedova out for Golden State. Draymond is suspended. Iguodala is out. I see Wiggins game time decision, along with Jordan Poole and Gary Payton. So I saw Gary Payton was an illness. I know Jordan Poole is his ankle. I'm not quite sure what Wiggins is, but I think I'm more confident that both Wiggins and Jordan Poole play because Poole's ankle can't be much worse than how it was the other night. I'm a little nervous with Peyton with this illness, but the situation being what it is for the Warriors, I would think that everybody comes to play and shows up for the team tonight. And on that note, um, this is one of those situations where it is the O2 team returning home, and this is one of those teams that I trust. The Warriors, for as long as I can remember, have been dominant at home. Right, everybody knows how terrible they are on the road. I mean, they almost won uh, the first road game. Right, they could have won really both of the road games, especially if Draymond didn't get thrown out. So, just thinking, all the role players we know they all play better at home in general across the league. This is what I have on this game: playoff home favorites. And I could pop it up on the screen, but just for the sake of time, because we don't have unlimited time today, I'll just read off what I have. Playoff home favorites. They win close to 70% of game threes when trailing 0-2 in the series. And the Warriors, they won above 80% of their home games this season. They had 33 wins at home. They went 27-5-1 against the spread. That's a little bit more than 84%. And they won by an average of like 11 and a half points per game. So I looked at that. Then I look at it's just pretty much telling me when the Warriors play at home, they win, and when they win, they cover. And Golden State, as long as I can remember, playoff wise, when they're off a loss and they're at home, that's when they come back and really whoop on their opponents. They're won 15 of their last 18 in that situation. They've covered 12 out of the 18, including last year they went 4-1. So I just think, given the spot for the Warriors, back against the wall, do or die, no Draymond, or I don't think it really matters. I think the young guys have been really wanting minutes, and they're gonna be excited to get out there and show what they can do. And the crowd, even though it's not far from Sacramento, they're gonna be crazy for the Warriors. So I like everything about Golden State in this game. I think they win this one going away by margin. I just you could bet them early, first quarter and first half. It's the same kind of concept as we've been rolling with. But I just know, even if they start off a little bit, neck and neck or whatever, that Golden State third quarter um, could come at any moment. So I like the Warriors here. Can you talk me off? What do you like here, Rob?
Well, when it's playoff time, I defer to you on all things Warriors because I clashed with you last year on the Warriors enough and hurt my wallet. I'll say this: I didn't go the game right. The first thing I went to with the absences from Golden State was the props. Steph has to show up tonight with a big game. I like what I see out of Andrew Wiggins, Skee, and maybe the best prop for me would be Andrew Wiggins points, rebounds, assists. I saw over 27.5 this morning. He had 22 in the last game. And we know that without Draymond, there's going to be some extra rebounds there. Wiggins is really good on the glass, the defensive glass, the offensive glass. So I expect his rebounds to go up tonight if his points stay the same, which they really have to, because if Poole is non-existent because of the ankle, which he has been the first two games, even though he's played, then the big three really become Curry, Thompson, and Wiggins, and they all have to show because Sacramento's going to score. I just don't see any way, shape, or form where Sacramento doesn't get themselves to 115. So in that case, the Warriors have to outdo that. They certainly can with big offensive performances. So for me, I went to those three guys in props. I think Steph will get over 29.5 points. I think he's due for a game 30 plus. He might have had 30 in the opener. Let me check here real quick. Yeah, he did have 30, and then he came back game 2 and only had 28. But over 29.5 to me seems too low for him. And Andrew Wiggins, points, rebounds, and assists. I think for me, that's the best way to go. If you're Sacramento and you're Mike Brown talking to your team, this is a real chance to clinch this series with the problems that Golden State has personnel-wise. So I expect them to show whether or not that team is ready for this moment on the road against a defending champion with their backs against the wall. I don't want to bank on that, so I don't want Sacramento. But I do like those props here. I think Steph shoots it well tonight, scores quite a bit, takes it upon himself. And I think Andrew Wiggins goes back to what we saw last year of playoff Andrew Wiggins and goes over 27.5 PRA.
Yeah, Wiggins is important, so I definitely can't talk you off of that. Um, Answer this question really quick, Rob. They said, what do the betting numbers look like? I think it was like, 60% of tickets on the Warriors and 80% of the money, something like that. So still a lot of time to go. We shall see, but I don't really care. I feel like the public has been on a couple of these last spots that we were on, and it hasn't really mattered. And the Warriors are a team that I believe can beat the other team and the refs, and that's what you got to worry about when you bet the public teams anyway. So not really worried about that. Sox Nation brings up a good point. Every favorite that one has covered.
Yeah.
Um, that's a good point there. CEO likes Warriors first quarter, first half. I would think they come out motivated. I can't. I don't want to talk you off. Wham says Kings are the best road team in the West. Yeah, okay. Regular season team in the West. It's a different time. They got them first two games. We'll see though. We'll see though, Wham. I know Wham is not gonna have a ticket on this specific game. Bill McDonald said any hockey plays. Andrew gave some winners the other day. I I don't feel very strongly. We got to win in that first game versus the Rangers. I don't want to go back to it tonight. It's a must win for the Devils. I I don't really love any NHL tonight. If I had to play, I would be looking at all the favorites because I think they all lost last game. Let's see. Zoned up says waste your money on the Warriors. We shall see. Casey says we need buckets, man. Draymond's point shaving right now. She doesn't like, she says she hates when he's not looking at the rim at all. She says you need somebody to put some pressure on the defense. She says against this Kings team, you can't be focused on trying to defend. You got to outscore them. What do you think about that, Rob?
I agree. Like I say, I expect the Kings to get to 115 tonight. They just have too many options. They play at pace. The Warriors don't really want to play slow pace. Munaf over 29 and a half. Yeah, I think it's a way I'm going. So I hope you win, Munaf. Yeah, and for what it's worth, that's what you like, Skee, right? You don't want to play around the floor. I know you well enough now that's not looking at the rim. Get something in the bucket. And Draymond too often isn't trying to do that. I think that tonight maybe you get more minutes out of Kuminga, who helps out offensively. It's not going to be a defensive series, I don't think. Let me put it this way, any 4-minute stretch of defense probably wins a game like this, right? So if Golden State can have 4 to 6 minutes at home, which they're capable of doing, we've seen it before, of playing defense, then they could probably get enough to win the game. It's problematic without Draymond and without Gary Payton the second, though, when we're talking about defense. Wiggins brings a little bit to the table. I don't know. I think when I went through this game, Skee, again, I came back to Golden State props. I think they'll score. I think their stars will be out tonight. The only one I didn't get to was Klay Thompson, and he'll probably have a big game now that I didn't bet him. But I think Curry and Wiggins are worth prop plays tonight.
Casey, Wiggins, and what was the other one, Rob? My bad.
Wiggins and Steph. Steph over
Steph, yeah.
29 and
Casey
a half.
agrees with
Yeah.
those two. I saw her in the chat. She says she likes the PRA on both of those, and she likes to ladder their props. But she doesn't like what you're saying about Poole here. She says, yeah, 17, 3-1. How you gonna say he's been non-existent in games 1 and 2? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Casey. I don't feel like his 17 points really affected the game that much. But what would you respond here, Rob?
He's 5 of 17 from the field. Now, he got the 17 points because he did get himself to the free throw line, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. But you expect Jordan Poole to be, he's shooting 30% from the field. They need better. I call that non-existent when you're counting on a guy like that.
I feel you. And I'm just looking at a couple more comments here. Guys talking about some hockey. I love that in the chat. I'm not too involved, but I love what you guys are doing. Agbar says, Warriors old ass getting choked up halfway through a game. Oh, is their time come and gone? I guess we'll find out tonight, huh? Sock Nation is asking about Looney first bucket. I don't play first bucket props at all. Sorry, I wish I could help you out. Eric Jones says Golden State wins and covers 123 to 115. Zoned Up says these Kings are hungry. So I did want to they didn't like my comment. I'm seeing now, I'm going back. They didn't like my comment when I said the Kings are a regular season team. Seeing there must be some Sacramento people in here, but and it's saying like they just beat the Warriors, the defending champs, the first two games. You're supposed to win the games at home for one. Number two, before the series started, I said, the more the series goes on, the more it favors the Warriors. They just got Andrew Wiggins back in game one. He has to get acclimated, et cetera, et cetera. And it was a list of things that I named off. So I'm not surprised by this outcome. The way that I bet the series was in a way with this outcome, had a possibility. But the Kings absolutely will not win in Golden State. It's just how it is. And yeah, it is what it is. So don't take it, it's just how I feel. I know some of these people might be Kings fans from how the comments are going. And I talk like, if you guys are new, I talk aggressively about these teams. Don't take it personal. You got something you have to say, Rob?
Yeah, real quick, and I don't mean to be offensive to KC and knocking Jordan Poole, but that's just the way I see it. But let me ask you this. Let's stretch this series out a bit and say Golden State wins tonight. You can get in right now if you think Golden State can hold their own at home and in two of the last three steal one in Sacramento. You can get plus 40, 140 Warrior series price right now. I'll ask you, would you step in and try plus 140 Warriors to win this series?
I bet them before that. I bet them at plus 160 after they lost the last game. So I see it's gone down. Probably, correlation to the spread going up in this game a little bit back. So yeah, I jump back in. I'm not scared at all.
Yeah.
I'm standing on what I'm saying. The Warriors will not lose at home. No Draymond, no problem. It don't matter. And Wham says, "Tell Rob he's a puddle." Talking about Jordan Poole. A lot of differing
When
opinions on Jordan Poole.
on our side.
G Martinez pulls on one ankle. Game two, he says he has two today. I did hear I did hear Kerr say, he credited him for battling it out. Said his ankle was really swollen in that game. Says he looked a lot better, lately. So I would agree with that. Um, let's
They
see,
need
a
them.
lot of comments coming in here. They absolutely do. Saturated says taking Kings in Sacramento is easy. Taking Golden State and San Fran is easier. I agree. I agree with that. His own depth says defending chaps should still win. They'll still game five. Just wait on it. I don't want to skip the comments because I feel like it's a lot of good comments coming in. We only have one
Yeah.
more NBA game. Um, and Justin's on
Yeah.
that. He says he put a unit on plus 140 last night. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I can see it. That's why I asked if you were in, because I feel like I should be in as well. For Sacramento, you just don't know what their mindset would be, Skee, if they lose this game. Warriors without Draymond, Warriors with Gary Payton the second sick, Warriors with Jordan Poole not completely healthy. You just wonder what it would do to them if they lose this one. Draymond comes back the next one. Wiggins is only going to get better, in my estimation, in this series. And Golden State really can't play any worse than what they played in game two. So if they get two games at home and we just go back to how close they were to winning game one in Sacramento, it makes a lot of sense to take plus 140. If you're going to risk it with an 0-2 team at all, you'd probably risk it with this team. And like I say, Sacramento has their opportunity to prove everybody wrong tonight by going out there and saying, we're going to get this game and step on this series. I just don't know that they can do it.
I agree. Wham, he finally put his money where his mouth is. He says he bet the plus six already. Light the motherfucking beam.
Yeah.
But we shall see tonight. Let's move over to the last game of the night. And I didn't even put a banner up for this one. Here it goes. Phoenix at the Clippers. This one opened Phoenix minus 2.5. They're now a 4-point favorite pretty much everywhere. Total open 228.5 and it's down to 226.5. Injury report, I do see campaign game time decision. Paul George out for the Clippers. I feel like the Suns maybe found a little something, got a little bit of momentum going there in that last game. And I'm thinking they can carry it into this one. So I don't know. I feel this game is probably the hardest one to me out of all of them. I'm comfortable right now with my series bet on this one because I bet over 5.5 games. Either team can win tonight, and I'm gonna root against them in the next game. I do think both teams will be able to score on each other. I'll lean towards an over, but I just don't feel very strongly about this game. What do you have on Suns and Clippers, Rob?
Yeah, for me, Ski, I think the only thing Phoenix felt in that game too was desperation, and they responded. But the Clippers are pushing them to the brink here. Now, for me, you have over 5.5 games. I have Clips plus 2.5 games. So I'm looking for one home win here, and that series bet is clinched. And the same if I just backtrack to Philly, Brooklyn. I have Philly minus 2.5 games. So if they could win tonight, that bet is clinched as well. I think the Clippers match up well. Phoenix just isn't, in my estimation, they're not as tough as LA. They're not as deep as LA. And with Kawhi playing the way he is right now, one star is enough to carry them against this team. I don't know that you're going to get out of Chris Paul on a game-to-game basis what you got out of him in game 2. You always expect Durant and Booker to be there, but Chris Paul would be the wild card. And for the Clippers coming back home now, I got to believe they feel a little bit confident that they can win this series. So I think the Clips could be the right side tonight. The only reason I didn't bet them is because I already have the series bet. So I can just sit back and watch and root for them to win a game and cash that ticket. But to me, this series is destined for a lot more than the 5 games that maybe people thought it was going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if LA wins this thing. It's going to be tough, but if they hold serve here at home and go home 3-1, which again will be tough, they'll be in good shape. I don't want to talk about total here real quick. I don't want to disagree with you on total because I do think that each side has matchup advantages on the offensive end. I think when Phoenix pushes, I know Chris Paul likes to be slow, but I think when they push, they're better because of Booker and Durant and Ayton. They can all run the floor. So I like it when they move a little bit quicker like they did in game 2. And maybe Monty Williams will make that a point of emphasis here tonight in Los Angeles. So we'll see. It's a great series in my estimation, probably the best matchup of all the series that we have right now, these two teams.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy watching it. Don't think I'm gonna be betting it though, so we'll see what happens in this one. And Saturated says CP3 just won his Super Bowl versus Scott Foster. It's the Clips tonight.
I wanted to mention the refs real quick here. The problematic refs are at Philly and Brooklyn. In Philly at Brooklyn, Tony Brothers, Ben Taylor, and Nick Butcher. Now the Raptors aren't playing, so maybe Ben Taylor's not a problem. But otherwise, the Sacramento Golden State crew is pretty neutral. Eric Lewis, Kevin Scott, Sean Corbin, and the crew in LA tonight, Guthrie, Kennedy, and Jason Goebel, pretty neutral as well.
All right. And premium picks. I like this one. Question is, who really is that guy? LBJ, KD, Giannis, Reeves? He says, I gotta say Reeves. Yeah, I've been loving what Reeves has been doing as well. I'm with you. I think we did a good job here, Rob. About that time, we touched the 3 NBA games that we have for tonight. Touched a couple MLBs. So, is there anything that you would like to promote, and maybe one of these bets you like more than the rest?
Yeah, let's go ahead and promote wagertalk.com. Wagertalk.com, I like to say it's a one-stop shopping for all your handicapping needs, whether you like selection picks from handicappers like myself and Skee, or if you like media content provided each and every day. Wager Talk's got you covered, and written content as well. I mean, our colleague Tony Finn will write you a novel on every single game that there is on the board and give you a selection at the end. But if you're looking for shows like the one you watch here with Skee each and every day, tune into wagertalk.com. You get NHL, you get MLB, you get every sport available. Pretty easy. Just go over there, drop your email address, and you'll have instant free access to all the content provided by wagertalk.com. If you like selection packages, today is Half Price Thursday, Skee, or Throwback Thursday, as they like to call it. So if you want to try somebody out, you can get them for half price over there at wagertalk.com. I'll say this. I'm going to go back to the Golden State game because I really have a strong feeling on those player props for Golden State. I don't want to pick just one and leave you with one, so I'll give you the two that I mentioned earlier. I think Andrew Wiggins PRA of 27.5 is too low. I think he'll get up and over 30 pretty easily tonight. I expect him to get over 20 points. I expect him to, you may be able to play Wiggins double tonight where the rebounds are concerned because Draymond's rebounding is absent in this one. So I like Wiggins, PRA over 27.5, and I like Steph to put up 30 plus in this game in front of the home fans. So give me those two props, Skee, as best bets. They're two that I've played already, so that's why I mentioned them both here. Don't know that Sacramento can win the game. Don't know that Golden State will cover the game, but I do think that those two guys will have big nights.
All right, good stuff on that. And you can make it a same game parlay. I know who's winning the game. You see the jersey. Golden State does not lose at home, especially off of a loss. So we rocking with them with their back against the wall, minus the what is it now? 6 points. I have -5. I still would take a -6. I need 6 to win. I think they win this game by double digits. I think it looks more like that Cleveland game, that maybe that Suns game, and that Bucks game. All those games, or not the Cavs games, they were missing a player, but the Bucks game they were missing a player. We've seen it plenty of times. The Grizzlies game, they were just missing a player. They beat the Lakers. No Draymond, no problem. We're going with the town business tonight. Golden State -6 as the best bet for the show. Like I always say, I appreciate you, Rob, first, just because you always take the time to come talk these games out with me. And I appreciate all the information you have to share in the chat. You guys are the best. You guys it's always a fun time. I'm over here holding in my laughs. Got to mute myself to keep from cracking up while Rob is talking. And you guys share a lot of great information too. So I love that we can have a good time as well as make some money. We will be back here tomorrow at the same time, 10:30 Pacific Standard Time. And I will catch you guys then.